Hello, it is 2:30 p.m. in Tehran. It is 6 a.m. in Manchester, New Hampshire. I'm Monita Rajpal.
And I'm Zain Verji. You're watching CNN, the world's news leader, and this is World One live from London.
But first, the parents of a former U.S. Marine convicted of spying in Iran have hired a high-profile lawyer to fight for his release. Iranian media say a court passed a death sentence on Amir Mirzai Hekmati for, quote, working for an enemy country and spying for the CIA. The 28-year-old was born in Arizona and has Iranian roots. His family says he was arrested in August while visiting relatives in Iran. Hekmati acted as a translator for the Marines. His case is believed to be the first in which a U.S. citizen has been sentenced to death for spying in Iran. As a rising tide of armed opposition threatens to sweep him from power, Syria's President Bashar al-Assad says he's staying put. A short time ago, Mr. Assad made a major speech in which he lashed out at those he says are behind the unrest in his country. He spoke for almost 2 hours, denying that he ordered a bloody security crackdown that's believed to have killed thousands. The president said he would give no quarter to terrorists. Well, CNN has now been given permission to report from inside Syria. CNN's senior international correspondent Nick Robertson is in the capital, Damascus. He joins us now on the phone. And Nick, was there anything, what did Mr. al-Assad have to say that really struck a chord, if anything at all?
Well, he certainly spoke to his supporters, and he spoke to some of those people who might be on the middle ground wavering.
Voting has just begun in the U.S. state of New Hampshire in round 2 of the race to be the Republicans' presidential candidate. The very first ballots were cast at midnight in tiny Dixville Notch, a traditional predictor of just who will win the election of the season. CNN's political editor Paul Steinhauser joins us now from Manchester, New Hampshire. And Paul, when we look at the polls showing that Mitt Romney doing very well, double-digit leads there in New Hampshire, is it a surprise and is it a big deal for him?
Not a surprise. He has been the leader in public opinion polls here in New Hampshire for 2 years now.
Violence, protests, and a nationwide strike. Parts of Nigeria are at a standstill as the protest enters its second day, and trade unions are urging people to keep voicing their opposition to soaring petrol prices. Officials in South Sudan say renewed fighting between rival tribes has killed at least 24 people. A recent upsurge in violence has already forced 60,000 people out of their homes. The UN says it is launching an operation to try to help them. It comes 6 months after the country separated from Sudan and became an independent state. The UN's top emergency relief coordinator, Valerie Amos, has been talking to CNN's Nema Elbargish, and Nema joins us now. What did she have to say about what the UN involvement is now?
I mean, the broader issue has always been with the fighting in the south, that this is part of the push down from the fighting between North and South Sudan.
Well, the court case comes at a time when relations between the U.S. and Iran are at a low point, with Tehran saying it has started enriching uranium at a new nuclear facility in the north. CNN's Christiane Amanpour weighed in on the latest developments and the link between the Hekmati case and Iran's nuclear program.
This announcement by a hardline newspaper, for instance, of the sentencing of an Iranian American.
To U.S. politics, and while New Hampshire's GOP presidential nomination vote is just hours old, much of the focus already is on what happens next. The Republican roadshow moves to South Carolina, and as CNN's David Mattingly reports, the power of prayer in this primary could make all the difference to its outcome.
We're singing redemption songs.
That 2 veteran French football stars are very much in the news today. Don Riddell joins us now with more on that. Don?
Thanks very much, Monita. Arsenal's manager Arsene Wenger has described Thierry Henry's return to the Gunners as being like a dream following...
Live from London.
We're coming up on 7 a.m. in New York, 1 p.m. in Berlin, 9 p.m. in Tokyo.
We have some news just coming into CNN. A team from an Arab League fact-finding mission in Syria has reportedly been attacked by unknown protesters. That's how it's being classified. Kuwait's official Kuna news agency is citing the Kuwaiti army and says 2 Kuwaiti officers were slightly injured. Of course, we'll continue to follow that story coming out of Syria. And Toowoomba was one of the hardest hit areas, but the floodwaters spread far and wide. Meteorologist Mari Ramos brings us more now from the World Weather Center. Mari.
And Monita, it was really amazing. The rains really started back in December of 2010, and by January...
right, Mari, thank you very much. You are watching World One live from London. I'm Monita Rajpal.
And I'm Zain Verji. We'll have the headlines at the top of the hour. Stay with CNN.